Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. We are here today with CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Denise Verdicchio with SHI International, and we're partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT, CDOIQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. And today I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Dorothy Aronson, who is the CIO of the National Science Foundation. So Dorothy, welcome, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Denise. It's my pleasure.
Why don't we start off with this, if you don't mind? You want to share a little bit about your background and how you found yourself as the CIO of the National Science Foundation? And then maybe right at the end, you could just share like what the best book that you've read, or the book that you're reading right now that you're really enjoying, something like that, so we can get to know you a little bit.
Okay, let's see. So my background is that I came to IT accidentally. I actually studied business and auditing, accounting, but I'm dyslexic. I was really bad at it, and I would get the decimal points in the wrong place. And so I went to work for a company called DuPont in Delaware. Right out of school, and they recognized this problem when I was reporting to them completely wrong numbers. And so they immediately swept me into the IT organization and said, hey, why don't you try this? And I've loved it. I've loved the working with computers, and I've evolved for many years working with all kinds of IT equipment. And I really was very interested in IT operations and making things happen and creating things. I also like to paint. I'm a mother of two children, two girls, and I loved doing the technical work, but voids kept being created between the customers and the IT people, where there needed to be connectivity. And I fell into a routine of being the connector between the IT and the customers, gathering requirements and doing more of that kind of work. And so I ultimately ended up leading people and leading projects, and came accidentally into this IT leadership kind of role. I came to data also very, very late, which because I was the CIO and there were certain requirements that fell, data requirements were emerging, and the director needed someone to take them on. And so I didn't step backward fast enough. So I started in data without really understanding the full richness of the environment. And I have grown over the past 5 years to really love data and to cherish the time I've spent on that. Recently, I'm currently reading, so if you know the end, don't tell me, but I'm currently reading a book by Isabel Allende, and it's called Violetta. Very interesting book. And I've read a lot of her work, so I can recommend her highly to people who are looking for stuff to read.
I've actually never read anything by her, so I love that suggestion. I'll definitely be picking something up. I appreciate that. Well, thank you for the background. Fascinating, honestly, to hear how you got into IT. I think usually it's a lot more purposeful, chosen, but it found you, it sounds like, and you've made a phenomenal career of it. And I think also just on the data point, I think in the last 5-ish or so years, the field has blossomed so much, and many, many people are finding themselves in this data environment now that maybe never expected to.
Denise, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do want to add this. I did not come from a world, I'm 62. So I was brought up more or less to believe that I was going to marry well and be somebody's wife. And so the reason I was not brought up to be professionally aggressive. And that is why really I just try to accommodate the needs of others. And that is why my career meandered a bit. But it's been wonderful.
I love it.
It's just been a wonderful experience.
I love it. Dorothy, thank you. I love that. So let's jump into the conversation. We're going to talk about accelerating innovation and digital transformation, kind of that topic, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Gartner published an article that stated the transformation journey is taking large enterprises at least twice as long and costing twice as much as they originally anticipated. in large part, this is due to cultural readiness. So as someone who is known, and I know this because I've done a lot of research on you, as someone who's known for effectively engaging staff around common vision, can you share some thoughts about why cultural readiness is a critical factor to digital transformation?
Of course. The purpose for creating technology solutions is to give them to people and have them use them, adopt them. That's not something that I can require of people. So if you look at the IT industry in general, you'll see, I'm guessing you have some sort of mobile device like an iPhone or an Android or something. Nobody made you go out and get that device. You did that because you wanted to, and you learned how to use it because you were inspired to do so, because it made your life better in some way. And that is the purpose of technology, is to improve the quality of your personal life or your work life and make it easier for you to accomplish the mission of your agency. And so that's all about culture. It's not about technology. It's about the purpose is driving the mission, not technology driving the way business is done. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not establishing the vision of NSF. I'm looking at the vision of NSF and saying, is there anything I can do to help expedite that? And I also love the culture of NSF. Now, I right now, and the culture can change over time. Things like COVID have created cultural opportunities for cultural change. And it's not my job to make that change happen. It's my job to give people opportunities for change if they choose to adopt them, and inspire them to adopt the changes that are better for the government or for the National Science Foundation. So culture, it's all about culture. It's not about technology.
So it's no wonder that organizations that are trying to go down this digital transformation path, but don't think about culture, are not succeeding or having some really big roadblocks because they're not, like you said, thinking about it from that point of view where you can't force it on. You have to engage almost like in a conversation about it. Yeah,
exactly. I don't know if this will come up later in our conversation, but there's a couple of premises that I work with. One is that I believe we have a job to do. The people that I'm providing technology solutions to, they're not here. Their job isn't to adopt technology. Their job is to execute their tasks.
Right.
And one of the best ways for people to learn how to do that is from each other, from the people that are doing things who speak their same exact language, who understand their business practices, and who make a recommendation to try something new. That informal learning is the most effective learning that I've seen. And so what I'm going for is to stimulate, is to leverage the natural way people are working and learning in order to accelerate adoption.
Let me just say thank you, Dorothy. It was a real honor to be able to have a conversation with you today, really, very much so. So thanks for joining me today. And for all of those out there, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thanks so much, Dorothy. Bye, everybody.